Hi, I'm Malorie Blackman and I write children's books. Well, today at the Cheltenham Festival, I've been talking about my latest book, Boys Don't Cry, which is published by Random House. Well, I think my talk went well. I think I got lots and lots of questions, which is always good, and they were really engaged and interested, so I think it went well. I love coming to the Cheltenham Festival. This is probably about the fourth or fifth time I've been, I think. And before I've been to various schools to do my events and so forth. But it's always a wonderful festival to get back to. Well, I must admit, the best letters I receive are the ones from teenagers where they say that my books have really touched them in some manner or some form where they can relate it back to their own lives. My latest book, Boys Don't Cry, is about a boy who finds himself suddenly a teenage dad, and it's also about his brother who's gay. And my Noughts and Crosses series is about sort of racism, but inverted racism, because it's a society split into two groups, and the Noughts are the minority and the Noughts are white and the Crosses are black. So I do like to kind of play what if games with my books, and it really is the best bit is when you get letters and emails and from teenagers just saying they could really relate to my books, and my books they really enjoyed them, and the books have moved them in some way. So that's wonderful. That's the perk of my job. When I was growing up, actually, I used to love reading. I think I loved the Narnia books, apart from the last one. I thought the last one was dreadful, but I did like all the others. And I just devoured anything I can get my hands on. Sort of, I loved fairy stories, myths and legends. I read an awful lot of books about chalet school in Switzerland, which was... It could have been set on the moon, because for all that I could relate to it. But I did like those stories and those adventures in a boarding school. But I think by the time I hit 10, 11, I wanted to read something that I felt was a bit more realistic and a bit that I could relate to more. So I grew to love crime stories and so forth. I mean, I must admit, when I was a teenager, they weren't books for young adults the way they are now, and so I went straight into reading adult books, some of which were very inappropriate, but that's all there were. So I just loved reading. I think that's the reason I became a writer. It's the love of reading. Yeah, well, I got a name check last year in Tiny Temper's song "Written in the Stars," and that was one of the more bizarre moments of my year. It was wonderful. It was my daughter actually came running up the stairs and said, "Oh, you're mentioned in Tiny Temper's song," so it was wonderful to get a name check. Very unexpected, but a lovely surprise.